amazing day of cricket today, wasn't it? Travis Head becoming the first man to score 100 in a session at the Gabba. 85 balls. All the Sussex fans out there are saying, what's going on?
Yeah, very straight, and he looked so chancy at the start as well. It wasn't like it was a brilliantly fluent innings. He just swung his way into form almost. I know he scored a lot of runs in the Sheffield Shield this season, but very strange. And the game wasn't in the balance when he got going, but it was coming back into the balance. England had taken 5 quite quick wickets and 5 big players as well, just either side of the team. Ollie Robinson was bowling beautifully. And then it just all started to go wrong, didn't it?
It really highlights the chances England missed earlier in the day, because those chances meant that it elongated the day. England became very weary in that final session. So let's talk a little bit about David Warner, who battled away for 94, didn't quite get his 100, but was given a reprieve 3 times, really.
It felt truly inevitable that he was going to make 100. He fell 6 short, I think, in the end, but Broad not being there, England bowled a lot over the wicket to him, having bowled around the wicket in 2019 when they had so much success. I think he only made it past 11 once in that series, averaged 9 or something. And so the 2 guys who got him out then weren't there, Archer and Broad. Everything looked set up for him. Stokes bowled a no ball and he was out on 17. Burns dropped him on 48 in the over after lunch. And then Hamid, in a slightly frenzied passage of play where Warner dropped his bat out of his ground, also missed him. And actually, Hamid probably, we didn't realise it in life, he could have walked there.
If we talk about the no balls first of all, so Ben Stokes came on in the 13th over. He found Warner's edge second ball. He beat his defences with the 4th ball, bowled him, and then it went to the review. But it transpired that the first 4 balls had all been no balls, and then in that spell of 5 overs, he bowled 14 no balls, of which only 1 was called on the field because the technology is not working.
But we didn't know at the time the technology wasn't working. Cricket Australia knew this, the teams knew this, the broadcasters presumably knew this, but they just kept it all to themselves, which is slightly in keeping with things Cricket Australia have been up to at the moment. Anyway, but that's another story. So it was all a bit of a mystery to us. I was wondering if Paul Wilson, I was kind of instinctively blaming him, and I was thinking this is not a great thing to be happening. The third umpire, but it transpired that actually it wasn't his fault. It was up to the on-field umpire, and the reason we moved away from on-field umpires calling no balls was because calling no balls is hard for on-field umpires, as we saw today. But it was a bit farcical. Stokes was also massively at fault here. Obviously, you're at fault when you bowl your first no ball, but the kind of method is you pull it back. But Stokes got a wicket. I mean, it turned out he still bowled, what would the maths be, 9 more after that. So just pretty shambolic.
I mean, a couple of issues, of which Stokes is one for Joe Root, that made it a very difficult day for Root today. There was a lot of pressure on Robinson and Wood and Wokes, his 3 main seamers, because also during that 5 over spell that Ben Stokes bowled, he chased the ball to the boundary when Jack Leach was bowling at the other end and seemed to pull up lane. We don't quite know what the situation is yet with Ben Stokes, but he didn't bowl throughout the afternoon session and was kind of basically limping after that. And Jack Leach, Australia, premeditated takedown of Leach, who went for more than 8, 9 and over. And Warner, who'd not faced any spin in 2019 because he wasn't around long enough, the moment Leach came on, he was down the pitch.
Yeah, Leach had a good series in 2019, but you start to wonder now whether actually his excellent series then was linked to Warner having such a poor series because he never made it out of the first spell. He got taken down. It was, as you say, it was a targeted, premeditated attack. Labuschagne was in on it as well. Head did it later. Smith was really looking to go after Leach, and that is a massive problem for England because it left Root with nowhere to go. He didn't have anyone to hold up an end. He'd just keep the runs down.
Yeah, so Stokes struggling, Leach struggling, a lot of pressure therefore on the other 3 seamers, which meant they were very weary towards the end of the day, and that's really when Travis Head took advantage. There was one other moment we should talk about with Mark Wood taking the second new ball with Chris Wokes, and he bowled what looked like, I mean, obviously an accidental beamer, but it was a hand-to-head beamer that probably just flicked the glove, took a bit of pace off it, but hit Travis Head under the jaw.
Yeah, and Head had been in the wars earlier. Wood hit him nastily on the arm, and Wood bowled really quickly all day. He's probably the last bowler on the planet you'd want to get a beamer from at the moment, the pace he's bowling. And it was a nasty moment. Head, fortunately, recognised immediately that it was a little slip of a hand from Wood. But yeah, that was a slightly heart-in-the-mouth moment. Wood, Wokes and Robinson, I thought, bowled well all day. Wokes is probably the least threatening of the 3, but he kind of kept things tight, and Robinson was outstanding, which is something for England to cling to.
the bowlers look very short of conditioning, which is not surprising really, given the lack of match practice that England have had and the lack of just general practice because of the rain in Queensland. And I think it highlights one of the reasons why England were reluctant to play Broad and Anderson, two of the older bowlers, on the back of very little cricket. And I thought the final hour today probably highlighted why England are right to be reluctant about Broad and Anderson. But the situation, Will, is a grim one. Trailing by almost 200, hard to see England getting out of this.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of speculation on the broadcast here about Australia pulling out and having a dart at England tonight. No, they want to come back tomorrow. They want to bat all morning. They want to take it into the afternoon session. Head's there, Stark's there. They could really pile on the pain here. Who knows how England are being a bit coy tonight. We don't know how what these injuries are, whether they are injury or just stiffness. It could get quite ugly in the morning, I think.
Yeah, a long and difficult day for England with 3 more to come.